You're listening to the best of the Morning X, dropping back into the interview from a few moments ago. This is the original 99X.
In case you're just tuning in, this is Barry Williams, of course, Greg Brady.
Was there somebody in the cast during the filming of the show who was, let's say, I don't know if I would say more difficult to work with than any of the others, but somebody who, like, there was always an issue with this person. And all right, we got to wait for this person because he or she, has to get this right or that right, or.
Well, at different times, all of us. I was a smoker during all that time, but I didn't want to, people to think I was smoking to be cool, so I wouldn't do it around anybody. I would always go off the sound stage, and generally where I would go is into the restroom. So people thought I had a urinary problem, and they were always asking for me. Eve Plum had sort of a hair issue. I mean, she did like the hair thing all the time, incessantly, constantly. And Maureen, sometimes Maureen would forget where she was herself, and that was a problem because we couldn't find her.
She would
forget.
What do you mean? Elaborate on that. She would forget where she...
Was she?
Gee, how much elaboration does that need?
She smoked a lot of pot.
Yeah, she had a bong going in the.
No, not pot. She just got a little bit, a little bit dizzy.
Okay, little ditzy. Okay.
I think
I don't know. Yeah.
She matured into a very lovely-looking woman.
Got to be a beautiful woman.
Susan.
Yeah, and the thing is, she doesn't look anything like Jan.
Nothing.
No.
So she's got dark hair and it's short and
very pretty.
Well, actually, it's kind of, when you think about it, I mean, that happens all the time, even in real life, when how many times have we gone to school or grade school or high school with kids, girls who were kind of gawky and uncomfortable with themselves, and they turned out to be these beautiful
Claudia
women.
Schiffer.
Claudia Schiffer, right.
Exactly.
Susan Olsen came in here about a year ago. She was very nice.
Very nice.
Great
She's
girl.
excellent. And a lot of fun. I bet you had a great time with her.
Yeah, she's great.
Really cool.
She was toying with the idea of doing a radio show out in L.A. for a while. Is she still
She's got an online show now that just had a big opening. I've forgotten the name of the network, but it's she did a radio show out there for a couple of years. She has a baby, and that took up a lot of time, so she bailed on the show, and now she's kind of coming back at it. But she's got a great sense of humor, and she has a steel trap for a mind.
Is that right?
She can remember everything, and she's a lot of fun. In fact, when I did Growing Up Brady, the movie, I brought her in as a consultant because she can remember all the little details.
That's good. You want to have somebody like that.
It's so funny how many Brady references make it into your life, because just before I even knew you were on the show, a week ago, I was in the attic, and this attic is large. I said, man, it'd be cool, just like Greg Brady's room was. Remember the attic bedroom?
It's amazing, and I think that's, you're asking about the specials and returns and why, et cetera. I think that we just got familiar with these characters, and we kind of all grew up together, and it's fun to kind of check in and see what's what, what's going on. You have, everyone's got a little bit of a reference point for them, a bit of commonality, and you can compare our lives and how they've developed to what happened with the Bradys.
When the show wrapped, was it a very sad day for you? When after coming to that set every day, and
it was, we didn't know.
Oh,
because we finished, they told us we were definitely coming back for a 6th year, so it wasn't goodbye, it was so long, and then we got the call later.
Oh,
how were ratings? How were ratings at the time?
Pretty good. Actually, they were pretty good.
Why'd they cancel it?
Well, there were a number of things going on, all of which
Contracts.
I go into in the movie. But the Robert Reed was very difficult, and Sherwood Schwartz, our creator-producer, wanted him off the show, and the network wasn't going for that.
How was he difficult? In what way?
Well, he's perfectionistic and looking for grounding in the show and more believable situations, and Sherwood was more of a joke teller, a situation comedy formula kind of writer.
Do you think that difficulty drove somewhat of a wedge between him and, let's say, the other members of the cast?
No, absolutely not. It was between them.
I see.
So
that was one component. Another one was we had finished our 5 years, so we were all up for renegotiation, which would have made the show 2 or 3 or 4 times as expensive. They were paying us $1,000 an episode at the end, and they were probably making about $2 or $3 million an episode. So there was that component. And the other thing was we had grown up, and apparently the creative forces didn't feel that they could carry on our characters, into college and relationships and, kind of expand it. So,
what was the last show? If you didn't know, what was the last one you taped? What was the
last one we filmed was Bobby sending away for hair tonic, and he couldn't get anybody to try it, so I became his guinea pig.
I remember that one.
Yeah, and he put it on my hair, and my hair turned up orange.
Wow, that was the last show?
Yeah, last show that we filmed.
Do you collect any Brady memorabilia? Do you have a lot of that stuff in your house?
No, I don't. I do have a lot of photographs. I've kept notes, and I have diaries, and I have photographs, and that's kind of my romp through the past.
Have you ever seen any of it turn up like on eBay or
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like
it's all over the place.
Is that stuff usually legit or fake?
To my, I wouldn't be any greater
You wouldn't know.
An expert than anybody else. I'd look at it because so many things were made, dolls and those Viewmasters and.
Oh, I meant like costumes or things from the set, that kind of thing that maybe.
I have not looked for those things.
Okay. Hey, I heard you tell the story once. Of course, the Brady's dog, Tiger, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was often that you would have trouble getting the dog to do what you needed it to do during a show, right?
Well, actually, Tiger was pretty well trained. It's when Tiger met his demise that we had problems. Tiger, even though Tiger was just a mutt, he was a well-trained dog. These dogs have to audition and everything.
Right.
They have dog wranglers. Every animal has a wrangler. The horse wrangler, the dog wrangler. When we filmed our show in Hawaii and we had the large spider, we had a spider wrangler.
Yep.
So we were filming the show where Jan Brady is allergic to Tiger, but it turns out not really to be Tiger. It was only Tiger's flea powder, so
Right, sure.
we didn't have to get rid of Tiger.
Of course.
And we were filming in the middle of it on a Friday, and everyone went home for the weekend to come back and finish the last scene with Tiger on Monday. And over the weekend, Tiger went across the street and did not look both ways and became roadkill.
The real Tiger.
The real Tiger.
Ooh,
So
that's sad.
The Tiger wrangler, in the fear of losing his job, got up early Monday morning, ran to the pound to get a look-alike Tiger.
And didn't tell?
Well, yeah, not a very bright idea in my opinion, but, he's trying to cover his bases.
Right.
But then he didn't want to tell anybody either.
Right.
He just, here's the dog, la-di-da-di-da. Except, so they bring in this dog, and this dog the dog won't even sit still. And that's all the dog has to do, really. We just got to, all stand around and cry and say goodbye to the dog.
Uh-huh.
So what we did was we took Tiger's collar, and we nailed the collar to the soundstage, bolted it, and then we got Tiger and laid him down and put his collar back on him. That's how we filmed it.
Because you needed him to be laying down in the scene.
Funny.
Well, originally he was supposed to be doing some other things, like going around and licking tears off of people or whatever. But that's
So
we couldn't even get him to stay on the stage.
So in that scene, when we watch that on reruns and we see in that episode when Tiger is laying down on the ground, he's really laying down because his collar is nailed to the soundstage floor.
Exactly. In fact, I recreated that for the TV movie as well. In fact, that was kind of the fun part about that project, was getting to recreate all these things that I've only been able to talk about or only been able to kind of reference. And here we filmed the thing at Paramount Studios. We recreated the wardrobe, the entire set, and all these sort of situations and episodes.
This interview isn't over. More after a quick break. You can also find it and more on the Morning X with Barnes and Leslie podcast. You're inside the best of the Morning X.